Welcome your hosts, Caddy, Frank, and Aaron Fitzgerald, as they lead discussions about substance use disorder and the journey to recovery. You're listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution.
Well, here we are on a beautiful day, a little cloudy, a little cool, right, Sarah?
A little chilly.
A little chilly, but where do we reside?
Minnesota.
Yeah.
And no snow yet.
No, none yet. Yet.
So I'll take it.
Okay, and I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Speaking of ready, what's right with you today, Miss Sarah?
I think having the next 4 days off and just being grateful for the team that is at Minnesota Recovery Connection. With Thanksgiving tomorrow, just realizing how grateful I am for the team that I work for and with. So,
yeah.
How about you, Caddy? What's right with you today?
This is going to air after Thanksgiving. So what it will be fun is that when it plays on Saturday, I'll be sitting in my house being so grateful that I just don't have to do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, there'll be just time to listen to a show and just... I was thinking about the same thing when we were driving over here, and that is just how grateful I am for the opportunity to have Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution, having Minnesota Recovery Connection as a place where we can work. We've got a strong team. We've got a good team. It's just a great day to be grateful.
It is.
Yes. So before we get rolling along, I want to thank our generous funders, including the Patrick and Amy Butler Foundation, Otto Bremer Trust, the Sauer Family Foundation, the Hardenberg Foundation, alongside many other foundations and corporate and other spaces and places that support Minnesota Recovery Connection for this incredible journey that we get to be on, right, Sarah? Yes. She just loves coming in. And
I do. It's so fun.
I know. She's like, I get to be really super cute and cool. Sarah came to me and she said, "Hey, Caddy, what are we going to talk about?" And what do we come up with?
Holidays and helping get through the holidays, ideas of how to get through the holidays, because it can be hard for some people, or it can just be a triggering situation. So we want to give you some ideas on how to get through.
Yeah. I think what happens is that sometimes that we feel obligated with family, we feel obligated with friends, we feel obligated, period, about doing things around these holidays. And there's a bounty of them. There's the traditional ones, and then there's other communities that have their holidays that go on. And then there are a lot of people who just say, I'm out of here. I don't want to do this. I don't have the religious affiliation. I don't have the gumption.
Yeah. Or they just want nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Maybe it got overdone in some part of their life. When we struggle with substance use disorder and we find our recovery, sometimes we need to just change how we do it. I was listening to a really interesting program. I don't know, a couple, 2-3 weeks ago. It was on KMOJ.
Oh, I've never heard of them.
Yeah, KMOJ, it's a great radio station out of North Minneapolis, serves predominantly the African-American community. And they've got great music sometimes that I enjoy. They go back to the oldies.
Gotcha.
Some of that funk and maybe some disco and maybe some good tunes, as well as great music all the way around. But in the evening, when I'm driving home, sometimes I'll listen to their talk radio because I am kind of a little bit of a junkie.
Yes, she does. NPR all the time.
Yes. So I'd like to listen to what, communities are discussing. And one of the guys was talking about how individuals who are experiencing holiday or traditions in families, and sometimes they just don't want to go.
Yeah. Or it's overwhelming.
Yeah. And what he suggested, it was a therapist who was talking about it. He said, what's okay is maybe if you say, hey, family, I'll see you on this particular holiday, but then on this other one, I'll send you all my love and appreciation. And if you want food or something, but I'm going to go hang out with my chosen people, chosen family, chosen community, whatever that looks like. And this particular therapist was wonderful because he said, yeah, I have these people because I think they were in sort of a housing community, some people that struggled with maybe some mental health or
Oh, okay.
co-occurring issues. They'd come back and they'd go, yeah, the family was really kind of okay. But they started talking about the other event where it was friends and chosen family. And they're
Yep.
like, we had so much fun and we played games and it was so great.
It makes a difference.
Yeah, it makes a
Sometimes.
real difference. Have you ever done that? Have you ever kind of gone sort of outside the box with your family events or holidays?
No, I do the thing with my parents and then friends. I don't know, nothing crazy. I don't
Nothing
know.
too different.
No,
No, not too different.
Mm-mm.
Maybe in the future you will.
Maybe could
'Cause
be.
yeah, because sometimes, sometimes life changes and people's being alive changes.
Yes.
And I know that's happened to me because in the last several years, I've lost people that have been sort of the tradition holders. And then we had COVID, which just sort of broke us all apart.
Yep.
Some of those
And
traditions.
change traditions, maybe.
Yeah, it changed traditions big time. A huge change in our I call it our motley crew family.
Oh, okay.
But now that my father is gone, he was sort of a linchpin for some holiday kind of gatherings. He did what was called the lutefisk dinner.
Oh,
And lutefisk, do
how
you know what it
Minnesotan
is?
of you.
I know. Do you know what lutefisk is?
No, I've never had it, but
It's
isn't it like covered in fat and stuff?
no.
Is that what I'm thinking of?
I don't know. Really don't know.
I
what
don't
you're thinking
know.
of.
I thought it was like covered in weird.
No,
stuff.
lutefisk is a kind of I think it's cod fish that is dried and then it is
Hydrated?
hydrated. There's the word. Thank you
Mhm.
very much. See, it takes a
Mhm.
village.
Sure does.
Rehydrated in lye. And so it sort of turns into sort of a gelatiny kind of fish.
Ew.
Yeah,
No.
it takes a certain
Not for me.
Yeah, it takes a certain the way it's served is with a lot of butter or a lot of gravy. And I usually when my father would serve it, I'm like, I'll take about a quarter size and I'll take about 5 tablespoons of butter and
Oh.
just because it's kind of gelatinous is how one would say it.
I know people love it, but that's not for me.
I know. So it takes, you got to be raised with it, is
Yeah.
what I think it is.
Mhm.
And so he would have this event and it would bring all kinds of friends and not necessarily family together. It was all about
Mm.
bringing friends together. And so that tradition is now going to slip away unless I were to reignite it. And
I was
don't
going
know
to
if
say, you could make it.
yeah, I don't know that I'm up for that at
You
this
and
point.
your boyfriend could eat it together.
Yeah, well, no, I think we just
Oh.
make it lutefisk free
Oh,
dinner.
okay.
Because I don't even know how to prepare it. I mean, it's a thing. But at the same time, if people die or move away, things change, or people just need to take themselves away from a particular dynamic in relationships. And so when we are talking about these classic holidays, people feel the weight of it
Mhm.
and maybe feel a little awkward. I was listening to NPR as I was driving here, and they were talking about feeling awkward. And so sometimes we feel awkward because we don't fit in or we're unsure
sure.
about like knowing what I should do or shouldn't do or what's appropriate, inappropriate.
And or sometimes there can be a lot of drinking.
Drinking.
At holidays.
Yeah. And what do you do with yourself in terms of those situations? So we're going to talk about for the majority of the time options.
Mhm.
And I think the strongest message that maybe we can relay, and that is you get to do your recovery and your holidays the way it works for you, right?
It is, and it's a way of self-care too,
Yeah.
if you think about it,
Yeah.
because you're doing what's right for you and what's best for you and taking care of yourself
Yeah.
and not doing what other people are expecting.
Yeah. Because it's those expectations that sometimes made us kind of go to places and do things that we didn't want to do. And I know in the past I would go out to family dinners. This is a long time ago. And then I'd go out to a bar and go drinking because I'm like, darn tootin', that was hard. I didn't want to do that. I'd rather be out here in the bar.
That sounded so Minnesotan.
Wasn't it though?
It was.
So when we come back from break, we're going to hit a list that we have of different things that we can do to entertain ourselves during the holidays. See you in a bit. Redefining recovery, recovery revolution.
And this house needs love in it, 'cause without it there's no home. And there's one thing that I've learned through this year of being alone.
Welcome back.
Hi.
Hi, how are you, Sarah?
Good. I'm so excited to be here.
I know you are. I know you are. We are back, Redefining Recovery, a Recovery Revolution. I just wanted to share something. I have a friend who lives in the UK, Mariana, and she listens to the show, and she said she got a little bit behind on listening, but she enjoys listening to the show. And I just want to say that when I was leaving our office today, I told people that I had to leave because we had to go record our radio show. And half the people went, "What?" So it is sort of like the best hidden secret. So those of you out in the listening audience who might be friends of people with a substance use disorder or those who struggle with a substance use disorder, spread the word. We're out here.
Or just want to learn more about substance use disorder and recovery.
Yeah.
Anyone is
Welcome to the party.
sure is.
Yeah. Us, those
It's
who
a fun party to be at.
You betcha. Oh man, I got my Minnesotan going on here, don't I? Don't you know? Yeah. But I want to just say that anybody who's listening, if somebody they know is struggling with substance use disorder or is not understanding somebody who has substance use disorder, there's a real opportunity maybe just to listen to some ideas, listen to some thoughts, listen
Or
to
stories, because we've had a lot of our Minnesota Recovery Connection staff on the show talk about their story.
Yeah.
So you could listen, get
Another
better
perspective.
idea
Yeah.
of what it looks like to be in active use and get into recovery and all that it takes to get there.
Yeah. And we've had many guests from different organizations as well. So it's an opportunity for people to just think about the people that they know, or maybe they see people on the street and they see people that are struggling, or they see people in a restaurant or a bar that might have imbibed too much. And sometimes we cast shame on people, and sometimes those people are struggling with things that we don't recognize. And the only mechanism they know how to damper their mind or their pain is to be out and about.
Partake.
Yes.
That's the word.
So when we do our training at Minnesota Recovery Connection, being the trainer of the peer recovery specialist class, which is a marvelous opportunity for people, even if you are an ally to the recovery community. I'm not just saying this because I want to boast our program, but what I have seen, I just trained 23 individuals last week, and everybody in the class was struggling and had come to their recovery side of things. But I had a lot of diversity in the class.
Yes, you did.
Oh, it was great. It was just great to hear, like you said earlier, Sarah, all the stories. And sometimes the misinformation about what it is a person in recovery is, or
looks like, or does, or
undereducated about, oh, that's what that is. That's why somebody's acting like that. Or maybe I don't ask them what's wrong with them. I ask them what's going on. Those are some really important things to ask. So, as I said, we have this long list of things that people can do.
It's like 4 pages long.
I know. And the reason this came, I can't remember who came up with this. Who came up with this?
I don't know.
I don't remember either.
It's always been in our manual. So
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's been in there for like 5 years. So where it came from, I appreciate that person. But some of these things are going to cost money. Some of them are sort of silly, but everybody has interests. And I think I love the one on the top of this list, which is visit an animal humane society, and pet some critters.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
I know, doesn't it though?
I want to do that.
Yeah. Go and just spend some time with some animals that are in a very inhospitable environment. And maybe there'll be one there that you want to maybe not take home, but know a home where it could go, or just give it some love and some care.
Because they need love too.
Yeah. Just like we do, right, Sarah? Yeah.
I know that with my cat, Gus. He always needs the love.
He needs the love.
Just like I do, and just like Caddy does, and
Yeah.
just like we all do.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves love and to be loved.
Yeah. And really where it comes in from what we can get from an animal, if you were going to do something like this, is it's unconditional.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where like the other side of the message is. And that is, most humans want love and appreciation if we can get it, or at least just acceptance for who we are.
Mhm.
And sometimes those of us who struggle with a substance use disorder, accepting us can be a little hard,
Yes.
but we still
Yes.
want your love.
Hmm.
We still need it.
And deserve it just like everybody else.
Yeah. And generally we love the person that might not be crazy about us,
Mhm.
but we have a hard time showing it because maybe we're ashamed, or we're sad, or we don't feel understood. Remember, it's reciprocal. If you give me love, I can hopefully give it back to you.
Mhm.
And so just remember that during the holidays. Sometimes holidays, as you said, sometimes people go to gatherings and have a good time.
Mhm.
And if the friend that you know, or the family member, or the relative says, you know what, hey, it's been a great time, I'm going to take off now. Don't think they don't love you, but they're loving themselves enough to say,
I need to go home now.
yeah, I'll take care of myself, and I want you to take care of yourself.
Mhm.
So maybe give your keys to Aunt Flo.
Or take a friend with you,
Yeah,
or something that I learned when I was in treatment, make a safety plan.
yeah, exactly.
Like write out a safety plan, put it in your wallet, your purse, your pocket, whatever
Yeah.
that looks like, and just have it with you.
Yeah.
Have a list of people that you can call.
Yeah. And this is not just for people that struggle with substance
No,
use
this is
disorder.
for anybody that might have
Anybody.
family, friends.
Or yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe you like to go out and have a good time. Heck, there's a lot of people like to go out and party, particularly at this time of year, because there are all kind of parties to be had.
Yep.
Have a plan.
Yep.
I mean, I was driving here, and I don't know if you noticed on the boards above the freeway, it said something about have a goblet and
Oh yeah, I saw that.
and
Have a goblet, plan a ride. There's extra DUI enforcement.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think we're getting a message out there, folks. Most importantly, we don't want people to get DWIs. I'm telling you, you
They're
don't want
so
one.
expensive.
So expensive. But more importantly, you don't want to put yourself or another person in danger.
Yep.
There's these things called Ubers and Lyfts and friends and family,
Or just regular cabs or
anything.
options, people.
Yeah. So think about it in terms of how you can protect yourself and protect another human.
Mhm.
And then also understand that if somebody who's at a gathering who isn't drinking or imbibing in whatever is going on, it's not about you. They're taking care of themselves. And sometimes it's hard because people think, well, why aren't they drinking? Or why aren't they doing this? Or why aren't they doing that? It's like, hey, because it's not their jam anymore. And that's
Yeah.
okay.
Or they just don't like it. I mean, it doesn't, to Caddy's point, it's not just people that are struggling with substance use. Some people just don't like to drink.
Yeah. Yeah. They might be an individual that had a family member or family members or partners or children or parents that struggled with it. And they don't, not because they don't want to, but they're not going to because they're just saying
don't want
it's
to.
just not part of me.
Mm-mm.
So we'd love those people just as much. And maybe you, the one who is going to imbibe, you could ask that person for a ride home.
Exactly. Exactly.
Get to know them because they could
Mhm.
be your best friend.
Mhm. At least for that one night.
Yes. So randomly pick something on your list that sort of speaks to you.
Do some painting, drawing, sketching, or doodling. It's that artistic side.
Yeah.
It works a different part of your brain.
Yeah.
Different side, part, I don't know.
Yeah. Different part of your brain. Yes.
And you get to be creative.
Yeah.
And who doesn't? And they have so many coloring books now for
Yeah.
adults.
Oh, Lord, I have about a dozen at home.
Or, Caddy does diamond dotting.
Because she's got one in her office
Yes,
that
I
I
do.
gave her.
But, you get to do something that's not every day
Right.
necessarily.
Well, and I think to your point, what you're talking about is it uses the other side of your brain. So much of the time we're at work and we're doing something, we're using that logical part of our brain. We're using that place where we just have to constantly sort of problem solve and do
Yep.
stuff. When we use, I don't know if it's the left or the right
I
lobe.
don't
I'm
know.
not that smart. But
Yes,
you're
you are.
using, but I don't know which side of the brain you're using. But what you're doing is that you're sort of cultivating a whole nother experience for you to
Mhm.
just kind of like dive into.
And it's self-expression.
Yeah. So you never know. You might write something poetic or just
Mhm.
important to you, or draw something or color something. Let's see. It was one of these says go for a bike ride, and I'm thinking might not be the
No.
right time. But
Mm-mm.
you know what we did at Minnesota Recovery Connection a couple weeks ago? We went bowling as
Bowling can be fun.
I know.
Bowling can be fun.
Yeah, we had our whole organization go to Memory Lanes, I think it is, over in South Minneapolis, and it was the whole team. And you just got to kind of let your hair down and be silly. It was very fun. What's another one on your list?
Make an overdue phone call to
Mm.
a friend or relative that you've been putting off. Okay, in a good way, you've been putting off, not like,
Yeah, it could be,
You know.
you could be avoiding somebody, but maybe you step into, like I was saying, that little bit of that discomfort. It's like, maybe why haven't I been calling this person?
Mhm.
But maybe it's time that I just sort of I take that leap of faith that they probably want to hear from me as much as I might be afraid for whatever reason, but they might be looking. It reminds me, I got to make a phone call to somebody.
So, yeah,
Thanks a
just
lot,
rem-
Sarah.
You're welcome.
But sometimes we have these reservations about doing things, and it's because we've built it up in our mind. And
Mhm.
I think that happens with people who have a lot of either self-judgment or are thinking that we're not as important to somebody else,
Mhm.
and in fact we are equally as important, if not more, and they're sad they haven't heard from us.
Yep.
That's a really nice suggestion. Let's see.
I do like on here, and I
What?
know this is not the time of year to do this, but go to different garage sales.
Ooh. Well, you know what you can
I-
do is hit a thrift store.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, you don't have to buy anything, but just looking around at different things and getting out
Mhm.
could
Get-
be good.
New environment. I know my guy and I will go out periodically, and we'll go to these crazy places that I say that we should go sometimes.
Oh, okay.
And he's kind of just follows along like a good trooper.
Yeah.
But what he gets to do is that he kind of goes down memory lane sometimes, and he'll
Mm.
see a toy or a picture or sometimes a magazine or an album, and he's like, "Wow, I hadn't thought about that in a while." And it's just sort of like you said earlier, it sort of triggers another side of our brain to just kind of get out of our heads.
Especially if you go down memory lane like your boyfriend does, it can trigger happy thoughts.
Mhm.
Hopefully,
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah.
but it's a way to get out of your head.
Yeah, and it isn't the same as like going shopping at a big box
Target.
store or someplace,
Yeah.
because you sometimes will have the impulse to buy there. Or if you go to a thrift store, or you go someplace, Salvation Army or Goodwill, or there's a place I go to called Empty Nest, where they only open on weekends, and they've just got households that have been cleared out of a house, and they've just got a little bit of everything.
Oh, nice.
Found the greatest thing a couple of weeks ago. It's just wonderful. But you go and you don't have to buy anything because it's not impulse. It's more like, could I use that? Could I not? Or maybe I can just walk out and go, that was kind of cool to see all kinds of somebody else's stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, how did they live? Oh man, that's a 70s house. Ooh, that's an 80s house. Ooh, that's a 90s house.
Especially if you go to Target or any of those big stores, they make it easy
To just pick up something.
Mhm.
And we don't always have a lot of money.
No.
None of us
No.
have a lot of money sometimes. And so if you go someplace and do something, you can go to the Minneapolis Institute of Art, MIA, they call it.
Oh, yeah.
Institute,
Isn't
and
that free?
it's free. Yeah, they have a donation box. So if you got
Mhm.
an extra buck or you got a few bucks, you can toss it in there. But that's for free. And there again, to your point earlier, using another side of our brain, just looking at beautiful things and sort of taking in different cultures, taking in different information.
Mhm.
I think the Como Zoo is also free.
Yes.
And
Yep.
you can go there.
Like they have a donation box like the Mia does.
Yep. And the conservatory. Oh, if there's a place. Have you been to the
Yes.
conservatory?
Mhm. Especially in the dead of winter
Oh,
when it's cold outside.
oh,
You go in there, you see plants and color, and
yes.
it's a good thing to do in the winter.
Well, and there's so much humidity in there, and we just get like dried up like prunes in the winter
Mhm.
here.
Yes.
You go into the fern room and they have to mist
And it's
things.
so nice.
It's so nice. So, hey, hot tip for you. And I think you can take public transportation. Might have to walk a few blocks. It's right off the main gate of the state fairgrounds. Not that I know that or anything.
No, not like you've been there before.
No, haven't been there before. What else you got on your list, Miss Sarah?
Tune in to your favorite radio station
Hey, or a new one.
or a new one.
Hey, I just told you about KMOJ.
Yeah.
Tune it on 89.9. Why I know that one, but now we are at AM 950, so we
So-
must represent AM 950.
Yes. But you can try something new, tune into
Mhm.
your favorite one, or
Mhm.
just music in general,
Yeah.
or podcast.
Yeah. Just I think the thing that we're probably hitting on is thinking outside the box of what we normally do. We can get caught in patterns. I know I I go home, I talk to my guy, I go get something to eat, I sit on my sofa, I watch something on probably Netflix or PBS, and then I take a bath and I go to bed. And it's like, oh,
It's the
Lord,
same routine.
over and over.
Mhm.
And then we feel like we're just living in this hamster wheel.
That's how I feel sometimes.
Yeah. And so the fun thing to do is like if you have an afternoon off or an evening off, or maybe you're lucky enough during the holiday time to have some extra time off, do something new. Do something new. And that's
Do
just,
something for yourself.
yeah.
If anything, if you still have to go to your, or feel like you have to go to your family things or your friends things or whatever that looks like, just do something for yourself at least one time this holiday season.
Yeah. Even if it's, one of the things you could do is you can even go like to one of the shopping malls because they all have pretty holiday decor up, and just wander a mall. Don't have to walk into any store, but wander around, get your movement, because movement is a real key component as well.
Yep.
to
Or what? I mean, before it gets too cold, maybe walk around your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Some people have their Christmas lights up already,
Oh my
which
goodness.
is something I love to look at.
Oh, I got to tell you, there's a place over on Jefferson off of Snelling. I drove by it last night. This house is ready for the holidays.
they?
Oh my God. It lit up the entire block. But it was well done. It was well done. It wasn't like,
Too
somebody
much where it's
threw up Christmas on a
Yeah.
house. It was just like the fence was done, the tree was done, the house was
Wow.
done, the chimney was done, the peak on the house was done, the windows were done.
how much time they spent doing that.
I don't even want to know. But that's another fun thing you can do is that maybe if you could live in an apartment, or you could live in a recovery home, or you could have your own home. If you can go to a thrift store, or you can go to the cheap parts of some of the stores and buy some lights, or buy some Christmas or some holiday or just some fun decor.
Yeah, I heard the dollar store from one of my team. Someone from my team told me the dollar store has good Christmas decorations.
Yeah, and just holiday stuff in general. Yeah, I love me a dollar store.
So Josie told me that the dollar store is the place to go.
Yes.
So
yes,
that could
yes.
be somewhere that you could go get some
Just get a few things.
holiday decorations and
Yeah.
decorate your space, whatever that looks like.
Because number one, it might make you festive and just sort of make you feel good. Number two, you're getting out and you maybe don't go to dollar stores very often. And maybe you invite somebody over and say, hey, let's have a pizza and look at my fun holiday stuff. So you could have your own gathering the way you want it in your own home or your own space.
Yep.
And feel like you're just sort of like involved in it the way you want to be. And if you can see a theme here, folks, do you enjoy who you are? Don't feel compelled to always maybe have to approve and approach other people and do what they want. Because I think that's a lot of what people that struggle with substance use disorder, and I know I did, I was so much a people pleaser. The codependency was
I was too.
serious
Still am
thing.
a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we all are. Yeah, I don't think we ever let it go completely.
No.
But it's about a balancing act, right? It's sort of like balancing.
It's learning how to be yourself, do what's best for you, and still feeling a part of your family, your friends, your
community of some kind. Yep. Let's see. Go to a discount movie. Many theaters have discount movie times, like on a particular day or after a certain hour. If you go before or after a certain hour, maybe even go to a local coffee shop. Maybe you just, I know coffees can be expensive, but maybe you just get the smallest of something and just sit again and be around different people, hear conversations, or invite somebody and go to a different neighborhood and just sort of sit and watch what's going on. Just see what's happening in a different space.
One that I like on here is eat ice cream. Eating ice cream.
Yeah. And we can do a little promotion for a wonderful ice cream shop. It's called, oh dear, Cold Front. Cold Front. It was front. I knew it was the second word. I couldn't. Cold Front Ice Cream, which is on Hamlin and
Cretin. I know it's by Cretin Durham Hall High School. I know that much.
Yeah, I think so, but it's called Cold Front. But that ice cream shop is actually owned by people in recovery, And
not know
so
that.
they actually participated a couple of times with some events that we've done. So ice cream in the middle of winter somehow seems a little contradictory,
But I do it all the time.
but it's so refreshing.
It is.
Yes.
I don't know why, but it just works.
It just tastes good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
And they're a small local ice cream shop that makes their own flavors and stuff. So
Mhm.
they really do the creative stuff. So yeah, I think that's an awesome idea,
Mhm.
Sarah. Maybe I'd like this one, invite somebody over and make a pizza with friends.
Oh, homemade pizza's the best.
Yeah. You could just buy the pre-made pizza rounds, or you could even make them. They're very simple.
Mhm.
Very simple.
Like Pillsbury has like a dough that you just roll out on your cookie sheet.
Yeah. But there again, or maybe Eric and I made tacos the other night.
Mhm.
So want to know what I did with the tacos though?
You made taco salad?
No, but I made tacos. You know what I put in it instead of minced chilies?
No.
Jalapeno peppers.
Didn't you know what you were doing?
I was just moving too fast.
Okay.
And
That's spicy for Miss Caddy over here.
Well, I took a bite and I thought, have my taste buds gone to heck in a handbasket? Why is this so hot? I just put in a little bit of pepper. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, all of a sudden, I was sitting on the sofa trying with a lot of sour cream to eat this taco. And I'm like, I bought jalapeno peppers. And I went into the recycling. I'm like, yep, I did. But you know what? After a couple of days, they have a tendency to sort of calm down. But
Yes.
I was going to call our director and say, and
You can't come in today.
Yes. I kind of stepped into a hot one there.
No.
But you like having a community meal, but make it simple. Make a
Yes.
pizza, make tacos, do something
Or a potluck.
a potluck. Yeah, have a potluck with some friends.
Mhm.
Or just a friend. You
Yep.
bring your meal, you bring something, I bring something.
Mhm.
Nothing has to be, super big and super out of control, because sometimes that's what brings a lot of stress onto people if they get around a lot of people. Who was it? Oh, yesterday we were having a pizza at the office,
Mhm.
and Darnell, who you've heard on this radio show, Darnell Cox, he was talking about his family gatherings.
Oh my gosh, his family is so big. I had no idea.
He's talking about like 35, 40 people. I would curl up in a corner and just like begin to suck my thumb. I would not be able to handle that.
It's a
And
big family.
so a lot of you who have big families, and sometimes you have some anxiety, or sometimes you have some stuff that's going on with you, just, make an appearance, tell people that you appreciate them, and then go home.
Did we say that at the same time?
Yes, we did. But it's about, as we said, it's about taking care of yourself during the holidays,
Mhm.
because, and this goes for anybody out there, anybody who happens to be listening to this. I know there's an enormous amount of pressure that takes
Mhm.
place. And the idea is that we want to give you some self-care ideas with some of these things. You had said to do some art. You could take an art class. You can take community art classes someplace. Be careful to research your family genealogy. I did that and had some sort of outcomes that really kind of came out to be kind of a little bit surprising. But that's kind of a fun thing to do. You can just sort of figure out where does your family come from, or where do you know they come from, and actually just look at an atlas, look at a map, and look at all the different places around the globe. I've done that periodically, and I'm like, there's just a lot of places in the world.
There are. There are. And another thing that I thought of that's not on our list in front of me, but organizing or cleaning.
For sure.
Because last week when I was helping Caddy do the Recovery Coach Academy, a lot of people said cleaning.
Yeah. As a
or a
self-care.
class before, I don't know.
Yeah.
But cleaning, organizing, that can be a way of self-care because it's something that you control. You can see the results pretty much instantly.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, Caddy, but I like being in a clean home.
Yeah.
Like I clean almost every week.
Yeah.
But just it makes me feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people don't know how to do it. And that's another thing. I had a life lesson take place years ago with a friend. I had a mother that had a lot of issues. She was smart. She was intelligent. She had a lot of things, but she didn't know how to do house very well. And so ultimately, I didn't know how to do house very well.
Because if you don't know.
You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
But when you know, you do better. That's my line in my class, given to me by Celie Dudley. I give credit where credit is due. But, if you don't know how to do something and you've got somebody who's trusted around you, it's like, hey, because I didn't know how to really clean very well. I knew how to wipe things down. I knew how to dust. And I know that might sound crazy to people, but these are taught lessons. These are things that people, or you do with somebody, and so you pick it up.
Yep.
It's part of the process. And so I just didn't know kind of the tools that were necessary. But you're right. When you clean something or you organize something, your thoughts get straighter. Potentially, you feel, like you said, you got a checklist. It's like, I'm going to do this room, I'm going to do that one, or I'm going to do this drawer.
Or go through your clothes.
Yeah.
I like to do that twice a year. Just go through clothes and see what doesn't fit and what does, and then donate it to the Goodwill. Or
you want to come to my house? I got like 3 closets.
I can do that.
Okay. So we're just going to keep talking about ideas around giving yourself opportunities to do things around the holiday season. So thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution. Be back in a flash. Music play just to welcome us in.
And for some reason, it makes me think of Sunshine.
Yeah, I was just going to say something. That one just kind of makes me bounce in my chair. Like, oh yeah, that's kind of a happy.
It makes me think of summer.
Yeah, and that's okay. We're getting into the depths of winter.
I thought you were going to say we're getting into summer, and I was like, oh no,
no. We're getting into the depths of winter. Yes. So it's going to be a while.
Yes.
Hey, so one of the things I saw on this list. So what we're talking about, folks, is how do we make it through the holiday season? Those who struggle with their recovery and staying in recovery, those who are still in their substance use disorder and feel the pressure to either imbibe in activities that maybe they want to sort of pull back from, or want to give you some ideas on how you can just do something different.
And the importance of self-care during this time of year.
She's got a theme here, folks.
I do, because and I do this to my team at Minnesota Recovery Connection. It is so important to take care of yourself, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't show up in your life the way you want to if you're not taking care of yourself
in your best place. Yeah. There's a quote I have in the class, and I probably will massacre it, but it's like, taking good care of yourself will help you be the best of you instead of what's left of you.
Ooh.
I know, fancy there.
It is.
Because sometimes when we just spend ourselves out, we come home and we are just nasty to our people around us, or our neighbors, or hopefully not our animals, because they are unconditional love. But sometimes there's just nothing left, and so we just sort of like.
And then you add the pressure of holidays, because some people just don't care for the holidays.
Yeah,
I love them. I get so excited about them.
She's kind of a Christmas geek.
I am. I watch all the Hallmark movies, all of the Hallmark movies.
Oh.
But my boyfriend, he could care less about them, just because they're not a big deal to him.
Yeah, it's just not his jam.
But I love them, and so we kind of balance each other out, because he'll do holiday stuff because I want to do them.
Right.
You'll
do stuff that he wants to do. Yes.
But I think it goes to show that you can either care about the holidays, not care about them, but just make sure you're doing what's best for you.
And keeping that in mind. And as simple as just when you come home from a gathering, or you've got a work thing that I use air quotes, have to do, that you come home and you say, okay, I'm going to take a long shower. I'm going to take a bubble bath, and I'm just going to wash that off. Just making sure that you just are aware of how you're doing, because those of us who have had substance use disorder in the past, myself included, I don't get too much pressure around the holidays, but I have in the past where it's just like, I got to show up and I got to be great and I got to smile. I got to look nice. I can't eat too much, but I want to eat a lot, and I can't eat all the cookies, but I want to eat all the cookies. You're like, what am I doing? Self-judgment. So how can we, give you some great ideas?
You found one you liked when we were on break.
I did.
You did.
Oh, yes. So sometimes there are seasons, like usually spring and fall, there are those open houses or remodeled homes.
Of the big fancy houses.
But also they do one that is for inner city houses that have been remodeled and sort of brought up to snuff. Or just go to a random open house, maybe. If you have a real estate friend, I did this with our wonderful real estate agent, Wanda. We took a year to find our place, and we did a lot of really cool going around.
And if you're like me, and sometimes wanting to see what houses look like on the inside,
Mm-hmm.
it's your perfect opportunity.
Yeah. And also maybe take a gander through a neighborhood that you like at dusk. I have been known to peer into, not walk onto people's properties, but I will peer in. I will do a little window hustling.
Are you?
I'm a little bit of a lurker on occasion.
So am I. I will lurk.
Well, you if you go for a walk, like you said, maybe go for a walk, or you want to take a walk in a neighborhood. Like
And if
maybe,
if your lights on, I will
well, I'll
just
look.
glance.
Yeah. Well, and it's fun. It's fun. Even if you like the holidays or don't like the holidays, people's decorations
Are pretty.
they're pretty and they're creative.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of like, wow, what are you doing? So go for a walk in a lofty area, like walk down Summit Avenue or go over to one of the lakes in Minneapolis and wander around and maybe just slowly gaze by some windows. Let's see. There's a lot of great places to go. And get some interesting food too. So some of the places that I've recommended for people, there's a couple of Asian markets in St. Paul. There's the Hmong Market, and there's the
Isn't there one out
Village.
in Eden Prairie that's new?
yeah.
Like
There's
the
an Asian.
mall?
It's an Asian market called Asian Market, I think. It's in Eden Prairie. It's actually just down the street from where we are. But there's also Midtown Global Market. There's some of the Hispanic stores and shopping malls along Lake Street in Minneapolis. There's the Carmel Mall on Pillsbury and Lake Street. And these are areas that maybe people aren't familiar with. And so you might feel like, they kind of seem like areas, but you know what? Just go during the day and explore and just, there again, it's seeing new things, seeing some cultural things, maybe trying out some new food because that's awesome. Even going to a new restaurant. And, there's like gajillions.
I was going to say, and I feel like there's always new ones popping up.
Yeah. And you have to sort of explore and you have to be willing to take a risk.
Yes.
Because sometimes you don't know what's on the menu.
Yes.
But that's what the wait staff is for.
But I think the moral of our story today is that make sure that you are keeping true to yourself this holiday season. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to say no to something, no is a full sentence.
Oh, bam. Drop the mic on that one. No, don't drop the mic.
No, I
that would be
won't.
very bad in this situation.
They might get mad at me.
Yeah. But it absolutely, it's okay to say, no, I can't. And it's a large event and you don't want to go, or it's people that you don't know and you're uncomfortable with them. Say, you know what, maybe there's another time that we can get together. And sometimes people might feel disappointed. And a therapist said to me long ago, it's like, you can't control other people's disappointment, but you have to have your feelings, and you have to be, as you said, Sarah, be true to your feelings and who you are, because it makes a huge difference if you just say, I'm just not up to whatever that is today. And it's not because I don't love these humans or care for these humans, or it might not be a great thing, but I'm just not up to it.
Yep.
But another day I might be, and I'll make that phone call that I didn't make to somebody.
And also, if you feel like you have to go to something and you still go, how is that not possibly triggering for somebody?
Could be. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
you pressure yourself into going. Yeah.
And then you get upset with yourself that you made yourself do it, and then
it could snowball.
Yep.
Yeah. And we don't want to do that.
No.
Hey, if it snows, maybe go out and make a snowman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or a snow angel.
Snow angel. Oh, snow angel.
Or just go for a walk in the snow.
I know.
Because it's so pretty.
I do actually. That's one of the things I absolutely love. Oh, another thing that I'm seeing on this list that I think fits in very well when we close out this show is celebrate a friend's recovery time. Celebrate somebody that you know, or maybe that you've seen at some gathering and you know they're in recovery and you've kind of done that wink, wink, nod, nod, and you know who they are. Maybe you see them out in the community and you say, hey, you know what? I've known you for a while. I don't know you, but would you like to go out for coffee? I'd like to go out for a soda. I'd like to go out for something. And, just meet a new recovery friend or an acquaintance, because we never know what door is going to be opened up from somebody that we have a new conversation with.
Yeah. And or as you get older, it's harder to make friends. So any way that you can make friends or that acquaintance that can turn into a friend, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I used to tell a story, and I think I've told it before, that when I talk about, and Sarah and I do motivational conversation and motivational interviewing, I would just tell everybody to randomly go out and like, hey, you're at a store and you're talking to the salesperson behind there. And rather than being on your phone, which a
Mhm.
lot of times people are, I'm not shaming anybody, but I'm just, they're a human too.
Mhm.
Say, hey, how you doing today? And they look at you like, wow, you're kind. And they get to say, I'm fine. And I have made the mistake of saying,
So I was
what
gonna
time
say, what do you
what time
do you
get
not
off?
say?
Yeah. What time do you get off work? And they look at me like, why do you want to know, crazy lady?
Lurker.
Lurker, yes. No, but having conversations with people randomly is just a beautiful thing. Well, we want to wish you a great holiday season. We want to wish you a lot of care for yourself and care for
Joy.
your community, joy,
Happiness.
be you all over the place.
Exactly.
Sarah, as always, a delight.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, darling. Catch you at the office, babe.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution. Feel free to join us supporting our mission and become maybe an annual donor or catch us at minnesotarecovery.org. Thank you.